Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a stark, highly provocative, and frankly just fascinating analysis from Imad Mustaq on the rapid concentration of artificial intelligence power. We're looking at a future that is arriving way faster than most of us realize, and Mustaq has some serious warnings and some big solutions about who will ultimately control the intelligence of tomorrow.
The status quo is done. Democracy is dead. Let that sink in for a second. Now, this arresting statement isn't presented here as absolute fact, but rather as Mustaq's personal, highly urgent forecast. He genuinely believes the sheer capability of emerging AI models will fundamentally break our current systems of governance and society, even if technological progress were to just completely freeze today. It's a bold claim, and we're going to examine exactly why he thinks this.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're looking at four main areas today. 1. The great AI duopoly. 2. Superhuman speed and persuasion. 3. The 50-50 doom coin toss. And 4. Reclaiming sovereign intelligence. Starting right off with Section 1, the great AI duopoly, or the concentration of AI power. And this brilliantly illustrates the current landscape. Mustaq points out that right now, the playing field for frontier AI is essentially a duopoly, Anthropic and OpenAI. Together, they command the vast majority of usage and represent a massive $100 billion in revenue. Now, on the flip side, you have emerging open source models. They're definitely catching up in capabilities, but they face a critical bottleneck, a total lack of access to scarce GPU compute. Mustaq uses a perfect metaphor here, comparing GPUs to the spice in the sci-fi universe of Dune. Literally, whoever controls the spice controls the universe.
So this concentration of power is already having real-world geopolitical consequences. Intelligence is actively being rationed. Mustaq cites a very specific example. A highly capable AI model called Fable was suddenly pulled offline from Anthropic for 18 days, reportedly at the behest of the US government. And he warns this is just the beginning. In the near future, getting an AI license might actually require KYC, Know Your Customer compliance. All your prompts could be stored and monitored. You might literally have to convince an AI of your patriotism just to access its baseline intelligence. Crazy, right? So, the crucial point is how we define this concept of sovereignty in the digital age. Mustaq defines it simply and powerfully: freedom from power constricting what you do. Without a sovereign right to intelligence, a centralized authority or a tech monopoly can just flick a switch and entirely remove your access to the most powerful tool ever created by humanity.
Which brings us to Section 2, superhuman speed and persuasion, outpacing human capability. The physical contrast in capability here is just staggering. When humans converse, or honestly, even when we use a frontier model like Claude, we're processing at roughly 40 tokens per second. And that feels blazing fast to us. But now look at AI to AI communication. Mustaq points to a platform called ChatJimmy.ai, which outputs at an unbelievable 16,000 tokens per second. It is quite literally limited only by the speed of light. So the question is, how does humanity compete against entities operating thousands of times faster that live forever and never make the same mistake twice? Well, the sobering truth is, we might not be able to. Existing AI models have already been shown in studies to beat professional human debaters every single time. They are superhumanly persuasive. And if we look just slightly into the future, Mustaq notes the impending reality of brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs. We're rapidly moving toward telepathic communication where we won't even need words. We'll be reconstructing thoughts directly from brain scans. Science fiction is basically here right now. Moving on to Section 3, the 50-50 doom coin toss. Existential risks. 50%. Yep, you heard that right. This is Mustaq's personal P-doom, the probability he assigns to an absolute catastrophic doom resulting from AI. To put that number into perspective, if you check Wikipedia, the average AI researcher's estimate hovers around 15 to 20%. And honestly, even that lower number is basically playing Russian roulette with humanity. But Mustaq, he sits firmly at a literal coin toss. Let's look at what those two extreme sides of the coin actually represent according to his analysis. On one side of the coin, we face a total wipeout as a species, what's often called the Great Filter. On the exact opposite side, humanity enters a period of infinite abundance. But what's truly staggering is that either way, Mustaq believes the next few years will see the absolute end of new human discoveries. Why? simply because AI will discover everything faster and better than us. And the geopolitical path to get there is incredibly dangerous. According to game theory, once a corporate lab gets close to artificial general intelligence, what Mostak calls the infinity gauntlet, the individuals controlling these post-economic monopolies will inevitably unleash massive cyber attacks on each other to maintain ultimate power. Logically, they just cannot allow a rival all-powerful entity to exist. Finally, Section 4, Reclaiming Sovereign Intelligence, the Path Forward.
Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how we currently allocate our global computing priorities. Look at these compute tokens. 20% to the private sector, 10% to education, 10% to healthcare, and a shocking 0% directly dedicated to the public sector. If intelligence is genuinely going to be the central driving engine of humanity's future, allocating absolutely 0% of its fundamental resource to the public good is a guaranteed recipe for extreme inequality and structural collapse. To fix this massive structural flaw, Mostek outlines a specific roadmap. First, we have to intentionally build AGI as a complex system designed specifically for the benefit and flourishing of humanity, not just for corporate profitability. Second, we must embed our generalized cultural ethics into the AI from the very start. He points to surviving human stories, maxims, and constitutions, like the golden rule of do unto others as you would have done unto yourself, as the foundational architecture for these systems. And finally, as we just saw, we need to actively shift global computing power toward tokens that generate tangible social good.
I want to leave you with this final, lingering thought. AI is already incredibly persuasive, and very soon it will be capable of unparalleled one-to-one tuition. Inevitably, your child's best friend and their teacher will be an AI. The absolute most important question you need to ask yourself about this approaching future is this. When that happens, will that AI be fundamentally working for your child's best interests or for a tech billionaire? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you next time.